I sit cross-legged on the hardwood floor of my parents' Portland living room, surrounded by torn wrapping paper and the artificial pine scent of Christmas morning. My sister Chelsea twirls her manicured fingers around a set of shiny BMW keys, the metal catching the twinkling lights from the tree, as she pirouettes like a teenager instead of a 32-year-old woman. I can't believe it. She squeals, bouncing on her toes. My own Beamer. Dad beams at her with unfiltered pride, Mom clasping her hands beneath her chin like she's witnessing a miracle. The car sits in the driveway, a glossy white testament to parental devotion, complete with an enormous red bow that probably costs more than what they spent on my entire Christmas. Meanwhile, I stare at the object in my lap, a plastic piggy bank shaped like a cartoon character from a children's show I outgrew 25 years ago. The price tag they forgot to remove reads $1.99. Open it, Mom urges, gesturing toward the small rubber stopper on the bottom. My fingers feel numb as I comply. 2 crisp $1 bills flutter out. It's the start of your future home fund, honey, Dad announces with a dismissive wave. You're always so responsible with money, not like some people. He winks at Chelsea, who pretends to look offended. The silence stretches like taffy between us until Mom fills it. Chelsea needs reliable transportation for her new graphic design clients. Those artsy types expect a certain image, you know? Chelsea drops onto the couch beside me, her expensive perfume clouding my senses. Don't worry, sis, I'll drive you around whenever you need. She pats my knee with patronizing gentleness. Your little Toyota must be on its last legs by now. The Toyota that carried me through 7 hours of mountain passes yesterday. The Toyota I paid off myself 3 years ago. The Toyota that's more reliable than any relationship in this room. I can't breathe. 34 years of moments just like this one crystallize in my mind with perfect clarity. This isn't an anomaly. It's the pattern of my entire life. Just this morning, I had carefully wrapped their gifts, a leather briefcase for Dad that cost 2 weeks' salary, the silver bracelet Mom had admired in a Seattle boutique window, the professional camera lens Chelsea had casually mentioned wanting, all purchased by setting aside a little from each paycheck for months. I'd rehearsed my announcement during the entire drive down from Seattle. Senior structural engineer. The promotion I'd earned through nights and weekends of extra work, designing buildings that would stand for generations. I'd imagined their faces lighting up with pride, finally seeing me as something more than Chelsea's responsible older sister. Maybe this Christmas will finally be different. I'd whispered to myself at each rest stop, at each gas station, at each mile marker. My hands tremble as I place the piggy bank on the coffee table. The plastic makes a hollow sound against the glass. Excuse me, I manage, my voice sounding like it belongs to someone else. Bathroom. I walk, don't run up the familiar stairs, past the wall of family photos where Chelsea's face dominates every frame. The bathroom door closes behind me with a soft click before I twist the lock. My reflection stares back at me, eyes too dry, face too composed. I press my palms against the cold marble counter, waiting for tears that won't come. The pressure builds in my chest instead, like concrete hardening around my lungs. People talk about heartbreak like it's abstract. It's not. I feel each chamber of my heart contracting painfully, blood struggling to push through narrowing vessels. My sternum aches like someone has pressed a knee against it. This is what dying feels like, I think. Not dramatic, just diminishing. The night stretches endlessly as I lie awake in my childhood bedroom, listening to Chelsea's laughter from downstairs as she and my parents plan her first road trip in the new car. At 2:17 a.m. I finally sit up. I pack quickly, taking only what matters: the faded, stuffed bear my grandmother gave me, the photo album from college, the small wooden box containing my first professional blueprint, the expensive gifts I've given them over the years stay where they are. They were never about gratitude anyway. The house is silent as I carry my suitcase down the stairs. My house key lies cold in my palm for a moment before I place it on the kitchen counter beside the coffee maker that will brew in 3 hours. They have made their choice. Now I'm making mine. Streetlights blur into watery halos as I navigate empty highways. The dashboard clock reads 3:42 a.m. Christmas morning. My windshield wipers battle against thickening snow while Bing Crosby croons about white Christmases from the radio. I twist the volume knob until his voice fades to silence. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. I whisper to the empty passenger seat, my voice breaking on. Mary. The irony burns like acid. Through Portland's southern outskirts, my Toyota's heater struggles against the December chill. 7 years old with 200,000 miles, this car carried me through college, first jobs, promotions. It never complained about mountain passes or tight parking spots. Unlike the gleaming BMW sitting in my parents' driveway with its ridiculous red bow, my car earned its place in my life. Around 6, my phone buzzes against the center console. I glance down to see Mom's face lighting up the screen. Not "Are you safe?" or "Please come home." Just, "Did you remember to pay the electric bill for the cabin before you left Seattle?" The cabin they bought for weekend getaways that Chelsea uses for Instagram photo shoots. A semi-truck passes, spraying slush across my windshield. For 3 terrifying seconds, I drive blind until the wipers clear enough space to see. My hands shake against the steering wheel as memories flood faster than the wipers can clear them away. 5th birthday. Chelsea's princess party with professional decorations, pony rides and a 3-tier castle cake. 30. Neighborhood kids in party hats. My celebration the following year. Grocery store sheet cake, 2 friends from kindergarten, party supplies from the dollar bin. Your sister needs the social stimulation. Dad explained when I asked why. You're more independent. Independent. Their code for you don't need us. High school graduation. Valedictorian. My carefully crafted speech about persistence and dreams. Empty seats in the family section because Chelsea's junior varsity soccer team had an away game. We'll watch the recording. Mom promised. The VHS tape sat unwrapped on my dresser until I left for college. Your sister needs the encouragement. Mom said. You always succeed without our help. Without help. Their code for you're on your own. College years flash before me as highway signs count down miles to the California border. Working 25 hours weekly at the campus bookstore and cafeteria. Taking maximum course loads to graduate early. Stretching student loans and scholarships while Chelsea explored artistic inspiration across Europe on our parents' dime. Your sister needs to find herself. Dad insisted during one of our rare phone calls. You've always known exactly who you are. Known who I am. Their code for you don't deserve exploration. My phone buzzes again. Dad this time. I let it ring until voicemail catches it. The first hint of dawn lightens the eastern horizon as tears blur oncoming headlights into golden streaks. I pull onto the shoulder, hazards blinking, and press my forehead against the steering wheel. The patterns crystallize with sudden clarity. Dad controlling the money, withholding from me while bankrolling Chelsea's every whim. Mom manipulating emotions, making me feel selfish for wanting even scraps of attention. The perfect system. One parent handling financial favoritism, the other maintaining emotional control. My phone rings again. Not family this time. Monica Perez, my college roommate turned lifelong friend. Where are you? Her voice, warm and worried, fills the car through Bluetooth. Somewhere in southern Oregon. My voice sounds hollow. Unrecognizable. Heading south. To where? I don't know. The line goes quiet for a moment. Then come to San Francisco. Stay with me. Family doesn't treat family like this. Monica knows. She witnessed the evidence firsthand during college. The packages that arrived for me containing practical necessities while Chelsea received designer clothes. The holiday breaks when I stayed in dorms because flying home was too expensive. The same years my parents took Chelsea to Aspen and Maui. I can't impose. Stop. Monica's voice turns firm. You've spent your whole life being the helper. Let someone help you for once. The words crack something open inside me. Help. Such a simple concept yet foreign to my experience. In my family, help flows one direction toward Chelsea. Toward my parents. Never toward me. Okay. I whisper, surprising myself. Text me your location every hour. Drive safe. I'm making up the guest room. The call ends. I ease back onto the highway, wipers clearing fresh snow. For the first time since leaving Portland, my shoulders lower slightly from their defensive hunch. By 7:30 a.m., I cross the California state line. The Welcome to California sign gleams in early sunlight. My phone screen shows 17 missed calls, 32 text messages. With deliberate motions, I turn off notifications from Mom, Dad, and Chelsea. The silence feels weightier than any accusation. My stomach growls, reminding me I haven't eaten since yesterday's Christmas Eve dinner. A small roadside diner appears ahead, its neon open sign a beacon in the morning light. I pull into the nearly empty parking lot. Inside, the warmth envelopes me like an embrace. Coffee-scented air and the sizzle of breakfast on a distant grill. An older waitress with silver-streaked hair approaches with a coffee pot. "Rough night?" she asks, filling a mug without waiting for my answer. Her name tag reads Gloria. "Rough life," I mutter, then feel immediately embarrassed by the melodrama. Gloria doesn't flinch. "Honey, I've been serving coffee for 40 years. I know heartbreak when I see it. Family or boyfriend?" "Family." She nods, sliding a menu toward me. "Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family." Her weathered hand rests briefly on mine. "The special's good today. Comes with extra bacon." I order the special and wrap my hands around the coffee mug. Gloria's words echo as I watch snowflakes dissolve against the window glass. "Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family." For 34 years, I've been related to the Collins family. Perhaps it's time to find out what being part of a real family feels like. 3 weeks later, I am with my friend in San Francisco. My phone vibrates against the nightstand for the 13th time this morning. Dad's number. Again. I count to 10 before silencing it, adding his call to the growing cemetery of voicemails I refuse to resurrect. The first week, their messages held confusion. The second, concern. Now, in week 3, they've evolved into something darker: manipulation wrapped in parental authority. Iris Elizabeth Collins. Dad's latest voicemail thunders through the speaker when I finally check. "If you don't return this car immediately, I'll report it stolen. This childish behavior has gone on long enough." The Toyota. My Toyota. The one with my name on the title and 7 years of paid-off receipts. I crush the throw pillow against my stomach, swallowing the acid that rises in my throat. Mom's message follows. "The doctor says my blood pressure is dangerously high because of the stress you're causing. Is that what you want? For me to end up in the hospital because you're being selfish?" I delete them both without responding, though my finger hovers over the screen longer than I care to admit. My temporary sanctuary in Monica's spare bedroom feels both foreign and familiar. The walls are painted a soft terracotta that catches the morning light, warming the space in ways my Seattle apartment never did. On the dresser, my laptop displays an email I've rewritten 14 times. "Dear Mr. Sanderson. Dear Mr. Sanderson. I'm writing to formally request a transfer to the San Francisco office, effective immediately." My finger clicks send before I can reconsider. No family connections. No favors called in. Just my work record. My reputation. My worth as a structural engineer. 3 hours later, the approval arrives in my inbox. Just like that. As if I've always been capable of creating my own path. "You got it?" Monica appears in the doorway, reading my expression. Her dark curls frame a face lined with genuine happiness for me. The concept still feels foreign, someone celebrating my accomplishments without making them about themselves. "I start Monday." I confirm. Now I just need to find a place. "I start Monday." Monica grins. "Already called Andrea from book club. She manages apartments in Mission District. Rent control. Safe building. 20-minute walk to your new office. You didn't have to. I wanted to." She cuts me off, dropping onto the bed beside me. "Friends help friends. No strings attached. Novel concept for you." I know. The words hit their mark. No strings. No obligations. No scorekeeping. The tears I've been holding back for 3 weeks threaten to break through. "I made you an appointment too," she adds, sliding a business card onto my laptop. "Dr. Levine. Tuesday at 4. The card reads, "Elaine Levine, PhD, Family Therapy." I'm not crazy, I whisper. "No." Monica agrees. "But you've been carrying something heavy for a very long time. It might help to put it down somewhere safe." On Tuesday afternoon, the therapist's office smells like lemon furniture polish and old books. Dr. Levine wears reading glasses on a beaded chain and sensible shoes that make no sound on the carpet. She doesn't rush to fill silences. Just waits while I struggle to form words that have never been spoken aloud. "Favoritism," I finally say. The word hanging between us like a newly discovered planet. "My entire life." "And how did that make you feel?" she asks. Like I was worth exactly $2, I answer. Later that week, the apartment Andrea shows me is small 650 square feet, with a kitchenette barely wide enough for a refrigerator. But the windows face west, catching afternoon sunshine that spills across hardwood floors. It's mine by nightfall. I buy a futon, a lamp, and a small desk. Nothing more. The emptiness feels intentional rather than impoverished. Space to grow into. Monica drags me to a community center the following Saturday. Pottery class, she announces. You need something that isn't work or therapy. I protest until my hands sink into cool clay, feeling it yield and resist simultaneously. The instructor, a woman with silver hair and paint-spattered overalls, stands behind me. Don't force it, she murmurs. Listen to what it wants to become. My fingers tremble as they shape something from nothing. By class end, I've created a small, imperfect bowl with uneven edges. It's hideous and beautiful and entirely mine. The first video call comes 4 weeks after Christmas. I answer on the third ring, steeling myself against the familiar surge of guilt there. Faces trigger. Where have you been? Dad demands immediately. His face fills the screen red with indignation. Your mother has been worried sick. Behind him, Mom dabs at eyes that remain strategically dry. San Francisco, I answer calmly. I transferred offices. Without discussing it with us first? Mom interjects, pushing into frame. How could you be so inconsiderate? The old pull tugs at my chest, apologize, placate, make it right. But Dr. Levine's words echo. Your feelings are valid. Their reactions belong to them, not you. I needed space, I say instead. Space from what? Dad barks. From family? From responsibility? From growing up? From feeling invisible? I reply, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. From being valued less than Chelsea? From trying to earn love that should have been freely given? Mom's tears flow instantly, right on cue. How can you say such hurtful things? We've always loved you both the same. I'm not responsible for your feelings anymore, I tell her. The words feel like stones I've been carrying in my mouth for years, finally released. I'm responsible for mine. Dad slams his palm against the table. This conversation is over until you're ready to apologize. Then I guess we're done talking. I answer and end the call. In days to come, the rumors reach me through LinkedIn messages and texts from former coworkers. According to family lore, I've had a mental breakdown. I'm living in squalor. I've joined a cult. Chelsea's Instagram shows her looking concerned in tastefully filtered photos, captioned with vague references to family heartbreak and praying for those struggling with mental health. My new coworkers know nothing of this narrative. They see only my work, the precision of my calculations, the innovation in my designs. When Chelsea shows up unannounced at the office reception 10 days later, Monica happens to be dropping off lunch. She's in a meeting. Monica informs her coolly, and she'll remain in meetings indefinitely for uninvited visitors. My therapy group meets Wednesday evenings in a church basement that smells of coffee and old hymnals. 8 strangers connected by similar wounds. Family doesn't get a pass just because they're family, says Raymond, a 60-year-old accountant who hasn't spoken to his brother in 20 years. Love without respect isn't love. It's possession. So the words settle in my chest like truth. 6 months after Christmas, my apartment has transformed. Pottery lines the windowsills, each piece more refined than the last. A proper bed has replaced the futon. The promotion to senior project manager came with a raise that ended any lingering financial anxiety. On my bookshelf sits the plastic piggy bank. I filled it with crisp $2 bills, one for each week of freedom. Not as punishment but as a reminder. Sometimes the smallest betrayals reveal the largest truths. The first holiday season approaches with both dread and relief. No presents to buy that won't be appreciated. No performances to maintain. No diminishment to endure. Just me in a space I've created, becoming someone I'm finally learning to value. Worth far more than $2. A month later, the ivory envelope sits on my kitchen counter like a landmine. 3 days it's been there untouched. Cousin Vanessa's wedding invitation. My name in swooping calligraphy, Iris Collins. No +1. Just me, expected to return to the fold unaccompanied. So what are you thinking, Doctor? Winters asks, her office chair creaking as she leans forward. I trace the edge of the armrest, counting the brass tacks one by one. I'm going. Her eyebrows rise slightly. That's a change from last week. On my terms, I add quickly, I've booked a room at the Hilton 4 blocks from the venue. Dad called twice, insisting I stay at their rental house with everyone. And what did you say? Nothing. I smile, remembering the satisfaction of letting his voicemail fill with increasingly desperate messages. The boundary is the message. 7 months of therapy has taught me the vocabulary of self-protection. 7 months after Christmas drove away. 7 months of rebuilding myself, one therapy session, one pottery class, one peaceful evening. Alone at a time. During the session my phone buzzed. Chelsea. The third text today. Can't wait to see you next weekend. We need sister time before the wedding madness. I slide the phone back into my purse without responding. Dr. Winters notices. Your sister again? Suddenly we're best friends. I laugh, but it comes out hollow. She never texted this much when we lived in the same city. What do you think she wants? A ride from the airport. Money. The old Iris who carried her emotional baggage along with her actual luggage. I run my fingers across the fabric swatch on my lap. Midnight blue silk for the dress I've commissioned. 3 fittings to ensure it hangs perfectly from my shoulders. Schemes my curves without apology. The color of power, not reconciliation. They've enlisted flying monkeys. I tell Dr. Winters. Uncle Pete called last night about how families need to stick together. Aunt Judith emailed about forgiveness being divine. Even Vanessa's fiancé sent a Facebook message. They're coordinating. And how does that make you feel? Before therapy I would have said fine. Always fine. Instead, I traced the physical truth of my emotions. The tightness in my throat, the cold sweat along my hairline, the slight tremor in my fingers. Terrified, I admit, but also ready. Later that evening, I spread the seating chart Vanessa accidentally included in a group email across my kitchen table. There I am, placed between my parents, directly across from Chelsea. The family tableau was restored. I reach for my phone. Vanessa. It's Iris. I have a small request about the seating arrangements. Friday arrives with San Francisco fog that burns away as my plane takes off. The clouds part somewhere over Oregon, revealing the landscape of my childhood. My heartbeat quickens as we begin our descent into Portland. The rehearsal dinner location glows golden against the twilight sky. I stand on the sidewalk, touching the smooth stone pendant Monica gave me before I left. Strength isn't about not feeling fear, she'd said. It's about feeling it and walking forward anyway. I straighten my shoulders and pull open the heavy wooden door. Conversations halt mid-sentence. Heads turn. My mother's hand flies to her throat. My father's drink pauses halfway to his lips. I've changed. The Iris who fled at Christmas was a shadow. This woman in tailored black pants, emerald silk blouse, and heels that announce each step. With authority is solid present. The diamond studs in my ears catch the light as I scan the room, nodding. Acknowledgements without rushing toward anyone. Chelsea approaches first, arms outstretched, but something is different. The designer watch is gone. The highlights in her hair have grown out. Her smile seems strained rather than entitled. You look amazing, she says, embracing me briefly. Thank you. I step back, maintaining the space between us. How's the BMW treating you? Her eyes dart away. I had to trade it in. Got a Honda. More practical, you know? Beyond her shoulder, I spot my parents huddled with Aunt Martha. Mother dabs at her eyes with a cocktail napkin. Father's shoulders slump forward in a posture I've never seen before. Cousin Tara appears at my elbow, vodka tonic in hand. God, am I glad you're here, she whispers. You wouldn't believe the drama since Christmas. Oh, your parents are selling the house. She leans closer. Medical bills, they say, but everyone knows they've been floating Chelsea for years. Reality finally caught up. Before I can respond, a waiter circulates with champagne. I take a glass, watching the bubbles rise and burst against the surface. Just like the family stories, what rises eventually pops. Uncle Simon approaches, clasping my free hand. You're looking well, Iris. That job in San Francisco must agree with you. Senior project manager now, I say, the word still tasting new on my tongue. His eyes widen. No kidding? That's wonderful. More relatives orbit toward me throughout the evening. Cousin Michael confesses he always noticed how differently I was treated. Aunt Martha hugs me too tightly, whispering, "Your father lost his job 3 months ago. Your mother's on anxiety medication." I absorb each revelation with the strange detachment of someone watching waves break against a shore from which they've retreated to higher ground. My father corners me during cocktail hour, bourbon heavy on his breath. "Family sticks together, Iris." His voice carries the familiar weight of authority, but something essential has crumbled beneath. "No matter what. Does it, Dad?" I meet his gaze without flinching. "Or do some family members stick together while others get pushed aside?" His face reddens. "We've always supported you. $2 in a piggy bank." The words come out softer than I expected, but they land with precision. "That was your definition of support." He opens his mouth, closes it, then walks away. In the ladies' room, my mother appears beside me at the sink, eyes swimming with tears. "We miss you so much," she says, reaching for my hand. I continue washing my hands, the soap slippery between my fingers. "I miss who I thought you were too." Back in the main room, Chelsea pulls me onto the terrace. The evening air carries the scent of roses from the garden below. "The BMW got repossessed," she blurts out. "I'm drowning in debt, design clients dried up. Dad can't help anymore." Her voice cracks. "I don't know how to do this, Iris. I never learned how to stand on my own." The confession hangs between us. 7 months ago, I would have immediately offered solutions, money, and a place to stay. The old Iris would have added this burden to her collection. Instead, I place my hand gently on her arm. "That sounds really hard, Chelsea." I feel compassion without responsibility, a distinction that took months of therapy to learn. "I'm sorry you're going through that." Her eyes widen slightly at my response, compassion without rescue. "I can help make a budget," I offer, "but I can't fix this for you." Over her shoulder, I see Vanessa in her pre-wedding glow, surrounded by bridesmaids. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges. But tonight, standing on this terrace with the weight of family expectations sliding off my shoulders like water, I realize I'm no longer afraid. I am the woman who walked away from a lifetime of diminishment, who built a life from the foundation up. Whatever comes next, I'll face it standing firmly on the ground of my own making. The next day, I stand in the bridal suite of the Magnolia Gardens, watching as my cousin Vanessa transforms from nervous bride to radiant woman. The morning sun pours through tall windows, casting everything in a gentle golden light that feels at odds with the storm brewing in my chest. "Iris, your parents are looking for you." Aunt Martha whispers, her fingers gentle on my forearm. "They're in the library," said. "It's important." I knew this moment was coming. 7 months since I walked out of their Portland home, leaving nothing but a note. And a lifetime of resentment behind. "Thanks, Martha." My voice sounds calmer than I feel. "I'll find them after I help Vanessa with her veil." Martha's eyes soften. "They mentioned something about a family emergency before the ceremony." Of course they did. The library door feels heavier than physics should allow as I push it open. 30 minutes later, Mom sits ramrod straight in a high-back chair, tissues already clutched in her hand. Dad paces by the fireplace, his movements sharp and contained. Chelsea stands by the window, wearing a dress that costs more than my first month's rent in San Francisco, though the repossessed BMW is nowhere to be seen. "Iris, thank God." Mom rises, arms outstretched. "We need to talk as a family." I remain in the doorway. "The ceremony starts in 40 minutes. Sit down, Iris." Dad gestures to the empty chair, positioned to face all three of them. A staged intervention. This can't wait any longer. I close the door behind me but don't move toward the chair. "I'm listening." Chelsea steps forward. "Iris, this has gone far enough. Dad lost his job 3 months ago. The company downsized." Dad interjects quickly, "Budget cuts." "Mom's been seeing a therapist for depression." Chelsea continues. "This all started when you left at Christmas." Mom dabs at dry eyes. "We're selling the house." The perfect trifecta. Financial crisis, health concerns, and guilt wrapped in one neat package. 7 months ago, I would have crumpled under the weight of their expectations, apologized for something that wasn't my fault, and offered to help. Today, I walk to the indicated chair, set my purse beside it, and sit with my spine straight. "I'm sorry to hear about your job, Dad. And Mom, I'm glad you're getting help." Their faces register confusion at my calm response. Didn't you hear what we said? Chelsea's voice rises. They're selling the house because of you. No, they're selling the house because of choices they made long before I left. I remove a leather-bound photo album from my purse. I brought something to show you. Mom frowns. We don't have time for you called this meeting. I open the album across my lap. So we have time. The first page shows 2 birthday parties side by side, Chelsea's elaborate princess theme with hired entertainers, and my party the same year with a grocery store cake at the kitchen table. Remember these? I flip through pages of Christmas mornings, graduations, and family vacations where the pattern of favoritism is unmistakable. I spent months compiling evidence of what I always felt but couldn't prove. Dad's face flushes. This is ridiculous. We always treated you girls equally. I pull out a folder of bank statements. My student loans. $67,000 that I'm still paying. Chelsea's education. Fully funded, including her year in Europe for art inspiration. Chelsea shifts uncomfortably. That's not fair. You chose engineering. That was your decision. It was my passion. I corrected her. Just like art was yours. The difference is my passion wasn't considered worth investing in. Mom rises, hands trembling. We didn't have the money when you went to college. Things were different by the time, Chelsea. I learned everything about your financial records years ago, Mom. I cut her off. Dad's promotion came when I was 16. The inheritance from Grandma arrived before my freshman year. You had the money. You chose not to spend it on me. The room grows uncomfortably quiet as I lay out birthday cards spanning 30 years. The messages to Chelsea overflow with effusive love. Mine contain practical advice and reminders to work hard. We always knew you'd be fine. Dad finally says, his defensiveness cracking. You were always so capable. There it is. The truth behind decades of disparity. Being capable doesn't mean I deserved less love. My voice remains steady even as heat builds behind my eyes. Being responsible didn't mean I should carry everyone else's burdens. Mom collapses into genuine, not manipulative tears. We never meant to hurt you. Intent doesn't erase impact. I reach into my purse one final time. The plastic piggy bank makes a hollow sound as I place it on the coffee table between us. Dad stares at it. What is this nonsense? I remove the rubber stopper. Dozens of crisp $2 bills spill out. Unusual currency that catches the eye. I've saved a $2 bill for every week since Christmas. I explain. This isn't about money. It's about what you thought I was worth. Chelsea picks up one of the bills, turning it over in her fingers. I never realized how it looked from your side. Her voice lacks its usual defensive edge. They never taught me to stand on my own. Outside the library, relatives pass by, their voices floating through the heavy door. In minutes, they'll gather to celebrate love and commitment, while our family confronts decades of its absence. I don't want apologies. I say standing. I want change. I'll consider reconciliation under 2 conditions: family therapy and respect for my boundaries. Dad opens his mouth to argue, but Mom places her hand on his arm. We'll do it, she says, surprising us all. Whatever it takes. I gather my evidence and the piggy bank but leave its contents on the table. That's yours to keep. A reminder of what happens when you value one child over another. Walking toward the door, I pause with my hand on the knob. I need to take my seat for the ceremony. My friend Monica is saving me a place. As I step into the hallway, my back straight and heart lighter than it's been. In months, I hear Chelsea whisper to our parents, she's different now. She's right. The woman who left that Christmas morning carrying nothing but grief and resolution is gone. In her place stands someone who finally understands her own worth isn't measured by what others think she deserves but by what she refuses to accept. On Christmas, the sunshine spills across the hardwood floors of my San Francisco apartment as friends gather around a table that actually belongs to me. The scent of rosemary and sage from the roasting turkey mingles with laughter, real laughter. Not the strained kind that used to echo through my parents' house. To Iris, Monica raises her glass, her dark curls catching the light from the window. Who builds bridges better than anyone I know, both at work and in life? My cheeks warm at the toast. 1 year ago today, I placed a house key on a counter and drove away from everything familiar. Now I stand in an apartment filled with people who choose to be here, surrounded by pottery pieces I created with my own hands. And to Senior Project Manager Collins, adds Elliot, his fingers brushing mine under the table. His touch still sends electricity through me, not the lightning strike of infatuation but the steady current of something building toward permanence. Whose team finished the Richardson Tower project 2 weeks ahead of schedule? Elliot understands deadlines and structural integrity, an environmental engineer who values sustainability in buildings and relationships alike. When he first asked me to coffee 6 months ago, I almost declined. Old habits of self-sacrifice die hard. My therapist Dr. Winters called it progress when I said yes. The kitchen timer chimes, saving me from having to acknowledge their praise. Some changes take longer than others. Need help? Asks Elliot, following me into the kitchen. I've got it. The words slip out automatically. Then I catch myself, remembering Dr. Winters' gentle challenge. Accepting help doesn't diminish your strength. Actually, could you carve the turkey? I never learned how. My phone vibrates with a video call from Chelsea. Monthly calls, a boundary we established after the wedding confrontation. I answer while Elliot handles the carving. Merry Christmas, Chelsea says, her face filling the screen. Her apartment visible behind her looks smaller than mine. No designer furniture, no luxury car parked outside. Working 2 jobs has given her a new perspective on money, along with the shadows under her eyes. You look happy, she says, voice softer than it used to be. Your place looks beautiful. Feels like home. I angle the camera to show my pottery studio in the spare bedroom, once formless. Clay now shaped into bowls and vases that line the shelves. How are Mom and Dad? Dad's 90 days sober today, he wanted me to tell you. She adjusts the camera to reveal our father sitting in a modest apartment living room. Looking smaller somehow. The AA meetings are helping. He's different when he's not drinking. I nod, not ready to fully process that revelation. And Mom? Still volunteering at the community center. She wanted to come to the call but had an emergency food drive. Chelsea pauses. They ask about you. Not in the old way, though. We talked for a few more minutes before saying goodbye. The wall clock shows it's time for dinner. Around my table, conversation flows between Monica, Elliot, and friends from my engineering firm. And pottery class. No one mentions the piggy bank displayed on my mantel, now filled with dollar bills, representing lessons rather than resentment. After dessert, Chelsea texts a photo of a handmade clay ornament, clearly her first attempt. Pottery. Not pretty but made with love. Mailing it tomorrow. Then another message arrives from my mother. Found this in the attic while downsizing. It always belonged to you. The attachment shows my childhood dollhouse, the one thing I truly loved growing up. The deed transfer paperwork sits below it, officially making it mine. Later, when everyone has gone and Elliot helps with the last dishes, I step onto my balcony. San Francisco Bay stretches before me, lights from the bridges reflecting on dark water. Buildings I helped design stand in silhouette against the night sky. Worth isn't something you earn through usefulness, I whisper to the city lights. It's something you claim by knowing what you will and won't accept. Elliot joins me, wrapping a blanket around my shoulders against the December chill. Deep thoughts? Just grateful, I answered, leaning into his warmth. Sometimes the greatest gift is realizing what you won't accept anymore. The piggy bank sits visible through the window, no longer a symbol of what I lacked but what I found the courage to value myself first. Please comment to contribute your ideas. And don't forget to click the follow button to receive the earliest notification from my next videos. I will accept and edit all contributions. Thank you for listening to my story.